It's Friday the 18th of August and it's time for an Orville update. My name's Juan Brown and you're watching the Blanco Lirio channel. Today we're going to combine a little bit of footage from today, some still footage from today, and some video and still footage from yesterday, Thursday evening, the 17th of August. But first, some exciting new news here at the Blanco Lirio channel. As we crossed 30,000 subscribers, we're now up to 31,000 subscribers. YouTube reached out and gave me a ring, and apparently I'm in what's called Tier 3 of YouTube creatorship. And as such, YouTube wants me to continue to try and grow this channel up to 100,000 subscribers. That's when you apparently jump into Tier 2 of YouTube famousness, I guess, for lack of a better word. So to that end, they enroll you in a thing called the Creator Academy, and that's what I'm doing right now. It's kind of a online thing that just teaches you the basics about doing a YouTube channel, and it's a lot of millennials showing you how a lot of different millennials like to do their channel. But I'm going to continue to do the same thing, but they've got a lot of good basic advice on how to run your YouTube channel. So really looking forward to that. In the past, I've jokingly said the award-winning Blanco Lirio YouTube channel. Well, now it's official. I have won an award. I was nominated and am going to receive the reward, or the award, in Long Beach, California, from the Nevada, California, and Hawaii Floodplain Managers Association for our continued coverage of the disaster up in Oroville. Got a tanker launching here. A little fire bust out there at Perimeter Road. And also coming up on the 24th of August, I'm proud to announce that I've been invited, along with all my other friends in the mainstream media, to an Orville live press conference on the dam construction site. So I'm going to be able to get my boots back on the ground at Orville for the first time in a long time as we review the construction to date up at Orville, and that'll be on the 24th of August. So looking forward to that. So what does all this mean? I got to step up my game. No more shaky, crummy cell phone footage here at Blanco Lirio. Well, there'll still be some as I shoot out there in the field, but I finally broke down and bought a decent camera. Let me show you. Here it is. Here's what she looks like, the Canon T6i camera with the video setup with the flip screen. There it is, right there, so you can monitor what you're doing. I've got the Edge microphone hooked up, and it comes also with its own shotgun microphone, a Rode mic I believe it is, and it's all set up not only for DSLR shooting. I got the 250mm lens, but also for video shooting just like this. So hopefully no more shaky cell phone footage unless I'm out in the field. And as a DSLR camera and a package deal with a series of lenses that's going to allow me also to get a 250mm lens down into the plunge pool there at Orville. That's the one big question folks have, is what's going on down in that plunge pool? It's awfully late in the season now. How come we can't see what's going on deep down in that plunge pool, and the DWR cameras are not showing what's going on down there very well? So I'll ask the folks at DWR if they're going to fix those cameras so we can get a better view of that. Until then, stay tuned here for exclusive coverage of what's going on in the #1 deep plunge pool at Orville with the new Canon T6i camera and the 250mm lens. So let's hop in the mighty Luscombe and head up to Orville and see what's happening. So thanks again to all of you for your great support of this channel. It's been real fun getting this involved with history in the making at the Orville Spillway. One of the questions I got is, how do you flight plan to choreograph your flight over Orville and your picture taking? Well, it's pretty simple. I just fly direct over to the dam and do 2 circles at 1,000 feet above the dam, well, 1,500 feet above the dam. The first circle, just a nice, smooth, stable GoPro footage like this. The second circle, get in there with the camera and get all the still shots, and then head for home. And all that takes about 1 hour round trip. So we're just going to fly down the spillway here, and then we'll get into the still pictures and some pretty good detail with the new camera. This gives you the big picture. It's kind of broken up into several sections now. You got the upper section of the spillway that's generally unmolested. Then you've got the section of unauthorized blasting that's been torn down to bedrock. And then you've got the rest of the upper section of the spillway that's getting structural concrete. Then you get into the plunge pool area that's going to be all RCC. Then the RCC ramps up to the lower spillway, which is being rebuilt with structural concrete, and down to the dentates, the end of the spillway. Here you can see there's still dredging in the diversion pool, and there's also work going on still constructing the new power line system, the new towers for the power lines leaving the Hyatt power plant away from the dam structure. Meanwhile, the shoe fly connection is still up and running. Now let's get into the stills that were taken about noon today, Friday the 18th of August, with no shadows. Here's an interesting close-up view of the inlet structure for the Hyatt power plant that controls the temperature of the water going through the system, showing the lake level at 769 feet, outflows reduced to just 6,000 CFS, and inflows a mere trickle at about 1,000 CFS. This is the head structure, or the inlet to the spillway, showing the new access road recently added for gate repairs. Again, it's just bedrock. There's no concrete in here. This may be rebuilt in the future. The top of the PCC, or structural concrete plant. The upper section of spillway, which has been additionally rock bolted down to the bedrock, and there you can see forms for structural concrete. This section of spillway to be rebuilt next year. You can see the shoe fly connection still in place. The section of spillway that was impacted by unauthorized blasting, remember this was a communication problem they had, and they blasted a little too much, a little too close to the end of the spillway that they wanted to preserve this year, but they've gone ahead and taken it out and will rebuild it this year. The rest of the upper spillway getting rebuilt with structural concrete. You can see the forms for the walls already going up. Just below this section is the original failure point, and here is the plunge pool. We'll swing around to the other side and take a closer look at this in a minute. And here's where the RCC ramps up to connect to the lower spillway, which is being completely rebuilt with structural concrete. Right here, I believe, is the 3-foot ramp that was referenced in the BOC memos recently, numbered 9 and 10. And check out the width of these RCC walls. The lower section of spillway showing the structural concrete being formed up, poured, and bolted to the leveling concrete. And there again is that 3-foot ramp up of the RCC into the lower part of the spillway. And look at the width and the slope on these RCC walls. I believe this is going to all get backfilled. This is why they don't need a retaining wall at this. Here's the roller compacted concrete plant. There was talk in the latest BOC memos about building a whole nother RCC plant to keep up with demand, but I don't see where it would be located yet. Now we can get a good detailed view deep down into the plunge pool with the new camera from the left side of the spillway, the south edge of the spillway. Here we can begin to see the leveling concrete that's being poured in the deepest part of the plunge pool. The darker colored concrete looks like RCC, but I believe it's still leveling concrete as they're pumping it with this truck. You can't pump RCC. It's just too thick, too dry. Looks like they backed out the original dirt access road and are cleaning up underneath there. And what's going to be interesting to learn is how do they grade this RCC on the slope of this steeper portion of the spillway? Do they do it in level steps, or are they going to grade it to match the slope of the spillway? And if that's the case, how's that accomplished? At 150 feet deep, it's going to again start slowly as they start to level out the moonscape, and then continue quickly as they get a level enough working space to bring in the heavy equipment. Now up here at the top of the upper plunge pool near the original failure point, they're adding a cutoff wall as discussed in the BOC memos, and I believe this is it circled in red. So that if in the event that the RCC should erode too much too soon during this next season, before they get a chance to replace it all with structural concrete, this cutoff wall should prevent that erosion from affecting the structural portion of the upper spillway that's being rebuilt this year. A closer view of that section of the upper spillway impacted by the unauthorized blasting, which must have slowed down the schedule. And finally, back up to the top of the spillway at the head structure. Now let's look at some DWR drone footage posted on 17 August, showing some of the detail of what we've just discussed. Dredging continuing on the diversion pool down below. Cleaning up the access road in the main plunge pool. The RCC ramp to the lower spillway. Leveling concrete deep into the plunge pool. Removing any voids with the vibrator. Back-breaking, ankle-twisting work on a very uneven surface in very warm conditions. Now here we're beginning to see where it appears that they're pouring this leveling concrete to somewhat match the slope of the spillway. Here on the lower spillway, they're dumping and grading horizontally across the spillway. That's a pretty big pile to work with. They want to grade it to 15 inches and roller compact it to about 12 inches each lift, as each lift bonds to each other. And here they're achieving the final slope of the spillway in the final lifts. Time to peel out and head back to the barn. Here's a nice wheel landing demonstration on runway 7, the uphill runway at Nevada County Airport. Pin it right on the mains. Continue to fly the tail until the airspeed decays and the tail falls. Stick back in your lap and back to the fuel pumps. Thanks again for your kind and generous support of this channel and subscribing. Looking forward to the 24 August press conference on the ground at the Orville Spillway.